All right, we're just looking at a couple of upper body static stretches today. We're going to do your pec, bicep, anterior delt. We've got your basic tricep stretch. I'll show you how to do that properly. And we've got a little bit of a stretch for your lats and your rear delt as well. So first off is to stretch out pec and a little bit of bicep and a bit of anterior delt as well. The bicep is difficult to stretch, mainly because that is all it can do. That's as far as the movement goes. So to actually get a stretch on the bicep, you have to stretch it by pulling the humerus back instead. So obviously it attaches across the joint. So to do that, all I'm going to do is grab myself a solid pillar of any description or a wall would work. Thumb up towards the ceiling, heel of my palm against that solid object there. Now all I'm going to do, keep my elbow locked out, is just gently turn face away from my hand, get my feet going in the opposite direction, and push my front of my shoulder towards you guys, towards the camera. So I'm going to turn around, push my shoulder forwards, keep my chest up. Now that goes in a big deep stretch right the way through the bicep, into the shoulder and into my chest as well. You do have to make sure that we're not pushing up into the stretch. So if your hand's too low, some people will try and push their shoulder kind of up into this position, which isn't as nice on the stretch, and some people do the opposite. Some people try and push down into it. That's going to do nothing. Get it the same height, parallel with the floor, and just gently open up that stretch from there. If you need to make it harder, turn your feet a little bit more, and that's just going to automatically make you twist a touch further to open up that stretch a little bit more. Next up, if we do the lats on one side, you can either use something like a suspension strap, or you could just use a shelf of any description. The easy one first is using the straps themselves. So all I'm going to do, lengthen it out a touch. I'm going to turn my thumb down towards the floor, set my feet back, and I'm just going to allow my bum to drop backwards as far as it can go. So I'll keep my chest up as always, sit my bum back, and just try and get my bum to the floor. Now if that's not putting on enough stretch, I'll walk my feet forward a touch and sit back again from there. I'm trying to lean my head and my shoulders away from this arm, so allow your upper body to twist out a little bit. That should be giving you a stretch down one side of your lats, obviously on the right hand side that you've got overhead. That's a little bit of an easier stretch. If you want to make it a little bit harder, you just need a solid platform of some description. So I'm going to put my right hand on any form of shelf or tabletop or box or whatever, something around stomach, chest height, a little bit higher if you're more flexible or taller, and just sit, like same again in principle, you just sit your bum down as far as you can. This time I'm trying to get my chest to the floor, so I'm keeping my hips up, pushing my chest down. That is opening up anterior delt as well. But it's also with my straight arm position going to stretch my lats out again on one side as well. You can do that with a double hand position to do both together. Well, like I said in the previous video, stretching two arms or two legs together is less effective than doing one arm on its own. You can always get more movement with one arm single than you can two arms together. Last one is just the basic tricep stretch. We've all seen this stretch before. Can't do it very well on my left hand. Just making sure you're doing it properly. So to get your tricep involved, palm in between your shoulder blades, use your other hand to keep hold of this elbow. So now what you're going to do, what we typically used to do is just push straight down. Your goal is to get your palm to your tailbone. That's more going to stretch the shoulder out than anything. To actually get the tricep stretching, which is the aim of this, we have to start by separating that forearm away from your head. So don't start by pushing down, start by lifting that elbow back away from your head. Once you've got that opened up, then you can start pushing it down your back, and you should feel immediately just that separation, pulling the elbow back will put the stretch onto your tricep much more. Then you can focus on increasing it by pushing your hand down your back. You can do that with some form of belt if you don't have the mobility to actually push down from there, or you're too flexible, you need to pull it from below, but you can't quite reach your fingertips yet, like I can't. I can hold onto a rope in each hand and pull it down in that fashion. So there are various ways to get around it if you've got too much or not enough flexibility through the shoulder for that. So 3 basic stretches for upper body, and we'll see you next time.